Alright guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some post-processing for being underwater. So in my previous video I actually just showed you the basics on post-processing and what some of the different things do. Hopefully you've seen that or played around with it before. If not, before watching this video I recommend going and watch that one. I'll have it linked in the description. But yeah, so just like my last video, I have a scene with a first-person controller. I've got some water, some trees. I've got the ground set up, and we're gonna add some post-processing for when you're underwater to make it look like you got water in your eyes and that sort of thing. So, first thing that we want to do is we're gonna create a new empty game object, and we're gonna place it right onto the water. Right? We're going to make its position zeroed out. And then we're going to focus on it. Here, next thing we have to do is we're going to make a box collider. We're going to make it a trigger, and then this will be the collider for our actual volume. Sorry, I should make that bigger. Yeah, so this will be the actual collider for the volume that we're going to use for the swimming, or the underwater. What we're going to do now is actually make the size 0, and then now this is more or less at the top of the water. You could raise it or lower it depending on if you want the waves to kind of create the effect as well. If it's up here though, if there's no wave, they're still going to have the effect. I'd rather have it kind of just so that if a wave goes up over them, they can deal with not having the post-processing for a second. The other option to that is just to kind of make your waves a little bit lower. Yeah, so then after that, we're going to grab the object. I'm going to rename it underwater volume. And make sure you set the layer to volumes. Oh, didn't change the name. Underwater volume. There you go. And then we're going to make this a reasonable size for the water. So in testing, I saw that I believe 35 was the best height for it. And that just depends on the actual depth of your water. So you want it to go all the way to the bottom. So you can just test that out and see which one works. And then once you have the size, you're going to want to move it down half of the size on the y-axis. Yeah. So since we've changed it from 0 to 35, the size, it's going to go 17.5 up, 17.5 down. So we're going to want to move it 17.5 units down. And now we can see that the top is just about level, and it goes all the way down a little bit past, just to be safe. Now the last step for the box collider is to widen it out. So we're just going to get it bigger until it just about covers the water. That should be good on the x-axis. You can even go a bit bigger on the x-axis just to be safe. And then on the z-axis, I think about 300 was good. Maybe a bit smaller. 250, 275, 250. Yeah, that's fine. It's not exact, but just for the sake of the tutorial, this makes sense. And now what we want to do is add a post-processing volume to this guy. My camera is still set up from the last tutorial. If you missed it, again, go watch. But if you just need a quick little recap, all you're going to have to do is add a post-processing layer onto the camera and then make the layer the volumes layer, or whatever layer you're setting to all of your volumes. Now, what we're actually going to do to the volume to make it look nice and watery is we'll create a new profile, and I'm actually going to rename it. Oh, there you go. We have it underwater volume. I'm going to name it underwater profile. I'm going to get rid of that volume. Profile. There you go. Perfect. Now, if we click play, our guy, sorry about that. Our guy is going to fall into the water, since that's how I have it set up. And then now from here, even if we pause, we'll be able to see all the changes we make to the volume, to the profile, I guess. So the first thing I like to add is some bloom, because if you think about it, when you're underwater, it's nice to see a little bit of like a shine up on the top. So that's a bit much. If we reduce it down to around there, and then we'll increase the threshold. Maybe we'll reduce the threshold a little bit. Oh, that's too much. We have 2, 1.4, 3, 2. See, the issue here is that this is happening. We don't want that to happen. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to reduce the intensity. I'll set it to around there. Increase the threshold just a bit. Actually, you know what? We'll leave it at 1. And then there, you have a little bit of bloom. If you don't like the effect that it's giving, you can always just get rid of the bloom or just turn the intensity down, and it'll kind of look like this. And I think that's actually how we're going to do it. Next up, we're going to add some color grading. So this is going to give you kind of like the classic blue tint that you normally get from being underwater. We'll set it to low definition range here at the top. And then down here, under lift, gamma, and gain, we're going to enable all of those. And we're going to just tint it blue, just slightly. So we don't want it to turn everything completely blue, because that's not realistic. But it should definitely, everything's main color should definitely, maybe not main color, but everything should definitely be quite blue. So you can still tell that the ground is not the same color as the blue water up top. But obviously, as you can see, there's still quite a bit of blue. And finally, what we're going to add is depth of field, because when you're underwater, you have all the water in your eyes and it gets all blurry. So here, we're going to set the focus distance to 2, pretty short, and then the aperture, we're going to set it to 1. Now, if you walk around, it's all blurry. We'll set the max blur size to very large. And then this is the effect that you get. I'll maximize that. So this is all obviously just suggestions and kind of a guideline. And now if you can see, as we walk in and walk out, there's a nice little transition. So this is how I would probably do my effect. This might be for more of a cinematic game though. If you're going for more of a technically driven game, you might want to reduce the amount of depth of field and the bloom a little bit, and just have rely more on the color grading, because then the user will have more of an opportunity to actually see what they're trying to attack. But for a game, I don't know, a game like Minecraft or something like that, this could potentially work, since it's not so based on being super precise under the water. It's more for the aesthetics of it. And the last thing that you could do is, maybe if you don't like this, potentially add just a little tiny blend layer. So I'll actually do that and show you guys. So if you add a small blend distance, let's say we add 1. Make it even smaller actually. Make it 0.25. Now, as we get into the water, that doesn't actually work. We'll make it 0.75 actually. How about that? So now, as we get into the water and out of the water, there's a little transition. That's actually nice. And then you can go ahead and tweak that. I'm not going to sit here and tweak it like crazy. 0.5 might work. And there you go. That's good enough for this tutorial. If you guys aren't satisfied with this, obviously you can go ahead and tweak the blend value. But yeah, so this is the underwater post-processing. Hopefully it was helpful. If you found it helpful, please leave a like, comment, because it'll make me feel like people are actually watching the videos and actually enjoying and finding the videos I'm posting useful. And go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to try and post at least 4 or 5 videos a week from now on. And hopefully some of them will be helpful to you. So yeah, hopefully some people get helped out by this video. Enjoy your day, enjoy your gaming, programming, and cheers.